In today's video, I'm gonna explain at what weight you'll be able to see your abs, just like this. What's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, we're gonna talk about that magical weight, that magical body fat where you can actually see your abs. And I got today's question right here on my Instagram direct message. So first of all, thank you guys for all the great questions you've been sending, and keep sending them because we're about to roll out a bunch of videos and I want to address all the topics that you guys are interested in. So go to my Instagram, send me a direct message. First things first, I want to read the question so we're on the same page here, and then we're going to answer it. I'm 193 centimeters tall, 40 years old, and weigh 94 kilos. At what weight will I be able to see my abs? Currently, I'm in a cutting phase, consuming 1,570 calories on a daily basis, 210 protein, 70 carb, 50 fat. All right, guys, so I'm a dumb American, and I had to look up the height and the weight here. Obviously, the weight's pretty easy because kilos is pretty easy to convert, but I had no idea what 193 centimeters was. Guess what? That's actually how tall I am. That's 6'3", and this gentleman weighs right around 207 pounds. So when someone asks me at what weight you will see abs, if I was 207 pounds, you would be seeing my abs. So I'll put a video here of me. You know, I get around 205 and I start to look like a competitive bodybuilder, right? So that's, for me, a really good place to be. I typically start to really notice my abs around 210, even sometimes 215. It all depends on how much muscle you have, sir, because at 207 pounds, you could potentially be very lean. However, I have been a lifetime natural bodybuilder, started lifting weights at 17. I am 47 now, so that's 30 years. 30 years of consistently training and eating with the purposes of trying to put on muscle. Might sound unimpressive to see what I look like now, but it's been a lifelong journey that I've really enjoyed. So I do have a little bit of muscle. And even prior to getting into bodybuilding, I was a very competitive athlete playing sports like baseball, basketball, volleyball, even some football. So I've always been active. I've always had well-developed muscles for sports. And then when I got into bodybuilding, that transition made that much easier. So a lot of the determination on when you're going to see your abs comes down to how much lean body mass you have. Now, I have a calculator that's free on my website, so I'll show it here for you guys to check it out. If you go in there and fill some information out, it's going to give you some macros and some calories and things like that. But what it'll also do is give you an idea where your body fat is. I think for most men, we're talking about 10% body fat. Now, the reason why I don't really see abs at 12% personally is because it kind of hangs on in the lower back. It hangs on in the lower abdomen. And I have to kind of go through this grindy, annoying phase to get that body fat off where everything else gets lean, guys. So seeing those abs is going to require losing fat from an area of our body that typically holds on to it longest. Now, I know a lot of people will associate like training your abs with losing body fat, but that's really not the case. The way fat loss works, my favorite analogy is a paper towel roll. If you imagine the paper towel roll, the center of the paper towel roll is probably going to be the abs. Those paper towels that are closest to the center of the towel roll, well, those are the layers of fat around our belly. When you start dieting, you're revealing the fat on other areas of your body. You might not even see it because you're not taking pictures. You're not noticing. It'll come off your legs. It'll come off your butt. It'll come off your thighs. Sometimes it'll even come off your face and people will start to notice. It'll come off your shoulders, your chest, your arms, your back, all these other areas. And the reason we call it stubborn fat that's covering our abs is because to get to that area, you've got to diet through all that stuff. And sometimes we'll become frustrated and not see the change there and assume there's no change happening. In fact, my favorite story to tell was the first year I ever did a bodybuilding show was the first year I ever took pictures. And every week I would send my coaches pictures of my front and my back. And I, for years, thought I'm not losing body fat because I could never see a change in the front. Lo and behold, I was losing all the fat on the back of my body first. My spine became visible. My lower ab fat or my lower back fat went away completely. Then I started to see the outline of the six pack. Then when I got shredded, I'll show you some video here of me competing. That's when I could really see the detailed abs. And of course, that comes with the most difficulty because it's after a long period of dieting. Your energy is low. And so what I want to talk to you about mostly is your calories, right? So for me, alarm bells go off when calories get 10 times below your body weight or lower. So if you're at 207 pounds, that's around 2,000 calories, right? You're at 1,500 and some change on calories. To me, those are alarm bells. Now, your protein is high, so you're in a good spot for retaining muscle. However, I would likely be doing a refeed once a week where you keep your protein pretty stable, but you bump up those calories up to say 2,000 and have it all come from carbohydrates, right? That carbohydrate bump is gonna help you burn body fat. I know what you're saying, Paul. I've heard stories that insulin is bad for fat loss.
You sure about that? That's why?
Well, you've heard lies, okay? Carbohydrates help us burn body fat, okay? Because body fat is burned through activity, and you have more energy, and you have better strength in the gym and better performance in the gym and less muscle loss, okay? It's very clear, the research shows that carbohydrates are beneficial for fat loss when calories are equated. In any case, they're not worse. So I love using carbohydrates, especially because I'm a performance athlete. So don't fear carbs, understand your caloric intake, and just understand that by bumping carbs up once a week, you're gonna improve your digestion, you're gonna improve your NEAT, you might improve your sleep, you probably even improve some of your hormonal performance. Most of my athletes are doing at least one, usually two high carb refeed days a week when we're restricting calories. Also, guys, I can't talk enough about the benefits of a diet break. That's right, bringing your calories up and your cardio down to maintenance for a week's period. So what body fat are you gonna be at to see your abs? It's gonna be close to 10%. What weight is that? You know, that's a tough one because it all comes down to how much muscle you've added over the years. But ultimately, it's going to be a body fat that you're probably, and a body weight that you're probably a little uncomfortable getting to. If you're not uncomfortable getting to it or working for it, it's probably not gonna be a visible six pack. That's why it's so rare, guys, because it requires constant maintenance. Once you get there where your abs are visible, you've gotta maintain it as well. Talk to you guys tomorrow.